Welcome back to the Kimi Kato Show. I am Jeremiah. Our special guest today on the show is Eugene Nomura. He's an actor, producer. His upcoming projects, he's got House of the Owl on Hulu. It's coming out in April 2024. Touch, it's a film directed by the great director Baltasar Kormákur in theaters July 2024. And right now you can catch him on Tokyo Vice season 2. It's on Max. Welcome back, Kimmy. Welcome back, Eugene.
Thanks for being on, Eugene. Much
No problem,
appreciated.
no problem.
Um, so I really wanted to get into the little bit of nitty-gritty of the
Hmm.
Tokyo Vice. Can you talk about some of the behind the scenes?
Yeah, um, there's many because I think in season one we started with the ceremony, a Yakuza ceremony, and then so we have this expert that comes in, and I mean, there's so many aspects because of the '90s. Our wardrobe is very old style suits. It's like kind of like I mean, it's not way down to like '60s, '70s, but it's that early late '80s kind of fashion, yakuza fashion, with the shades and lots of gold jewelry, etc. So it's like every time we kind of smack people around, it really hurts because of the rings and stuff. But we were,
All
it
aesthetic.
was, yeah, it was really interesting because um, it was kind of, I think a lot of actors in the ceremony, about maybe 100 something actors, and there were fighters in there, and then there's these old time yakuza actors that are in a bunch of yakuza films in Japan that are all there, but they're kind of all nervous. It's Michael Mann. It's the guy who directed Heat, so they're like, "Oh my God, he's a hero," and so they're all nervous, and we're doing this scene where it's like really traditional, and there's this guy, how to pour the sake and how to drink the sake and when to clap and how to clap, and there's a lot of the rules within the organizer yakuza of respect your elders, respect your oyabun, but at the same time, if there's anything, we'll go and kill them. So there's that kind of tradition that we all kind of have to relearn, even though, you know, we're Japanese. It's not like we know everything, obviously. And then so we went back to study it a little more. Um, and then Michael would be, studying it really hard. So we would all be even more and be like, no, we wouldn't do it this way, or we would not do it this way. Or there'll be issues with, um, can you just hit this way to this guy? No, he's lower rank, so we wouldn't talk to him in this certain way. So there's so many,
Customs
like in
and rules,
Japanese,
right?
there's
Yeah.
I mean, there's 20 ways to say you in Japanese. If the other person's older, respectful, you say it a certain way. They're older, but they're not. They're at a lower rank, you have a certain way. Or if it's a female, there's so many different ways and so many traditions and a lot of depth and with the culture. So all that kind of came in. And then learning the US way of shooting, which was interesting. And it's a mixed team of crew. So there's a bunch of Japanese people from the Japan side, and then the U.S. crew, and it's a teamwork tie up. And so there, everybody was learning, and to every crew, like the camera crew, there would be a translator who would be there trying to help get between, so there's no frustration. But I mean, it was hard work for everybody, I think, in the beginning. And then once the team kind of got set, I think it was really interesting, and everybody kind of got it, I think.
So the camera crew was Japanese
It's
or
it's they're mainly Japanese crew, but the
right, okay.
main crew people came from the U.S.
Right.
So
Right.
then it's a collab already with every department.
Wow. Who was the main guy other than you that was bridging this
No,
gap?
there were several people. There was a whole team of translators that are bicultural, but they some of them, it was their first time just joining. There'll be people that are translating on set, but it's interesting because there's like a lot of it's not just translations, like
Hmm.
regular translations, because it's about
Right.
acting, or it's so there's specific translations that you don't need to translate. No, it's like this. It's this feel kind of a thing, or so that's a whole different ball game. But I think as there was a lot of frustration in the beginning. I think, in the crew and in within the cast too. And the way we shoot in Japan is different from the U.S. So then most of the time the camera will be rolling, and in Japan you start with and they have the slate and they go ka-ching, and then you start.
Right. 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 And
But
cut.
yeah, in the U.S. it's a rolling okay action, and then you kind of go into it naturally. So then everybody's like, hmm. Oh, it started already. So it's like this whole different
Oh
way.
wow.
But I
Which
think we
which way
all
do you
learn.
like better? Which way do you
I
prefer?
actually, I'm fine with both, but sometimes it depends really. But like I was used to, because in the Japan one, they would be like they'll really
Right.
slash the slate together, so it's like ka-ching, and
It's
then we're
more
like homa, which is like
right.
rolling. Here we go, boom, and then we go. So it'd be like you kind of have to kickstart really. But in the U.S. way, it's more calm. It's natural. You kind of
Roll into it.
gradually get
Like
in there.
right. Right.
So I think it's good in both ways. But I think a lot of the Japanese actors are like, oh, we're going again. Oh, we're going through the whole scene. Like in Japan, they would cut shots in bits and pieces. So it's like to save time and money. So they would kind of just cut it in pieces. So it's like, what, a shot at a time. And you just keep going. But in the US, you would shoot the whole scene. So then some of the actors would be like, I haven't learned all the lines. Or it's like, come on, that's common sense. You have to know your lines. It's like, I didn't think we would go this whole scene. And then we would go, many times. And as you know, it's Michael Mann, so there would be times where we would go all night. And then they'd be like, oh, we're getting too tired. Are we even in the shot? Are we not in the shot? No one knows. And things like that. But I think it was a learning experience for everybody. And I think the team kind of came together. The U.S. cast came in. I mean, Ansel was great. I mean, he's really such a hardworking, lovely human being, lovely actor. Rachel Keller as well. She's playing Samantha. She's lovely. And they're all, they're studying their Japanese. Ansel couldn't speak not anything until he joined Tokyo Vice. Now he can speak. I mean,
Wow.
at the
Wow.
press conference or whatever, he'll be talking. And then
In Japanese.
Ken-san, yeah, in Japanese, and then Ken-san would be like, "Hey, hey, hey, you're talking too much." Ken Watanabe would be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
hey, let me talk a bit." So but it's great. I
Oh,
think
wow. So
it's.
they both Samantha and Jake, they couldn't speak Japanese. They didn't
No,
really know anything about Japan when until they came on.
yeah,
Oh wow.
and they
It
studied
it
it, and he's been studying. I think like 4 or 5 hours a day. Um, yeah, he's a pro. He's lovely. He's lovely, and even like Alan Pohl too. Um, he's a veteran producer
Mhm.
director. He's done a lot of TV, and for a lot of the Japanese folks, he helped with Black Rain, which
Wow.
is one of the films way back when
Yeah.
a Japanese actor was in there, and uh, Kimi-kun and my friend and senpai Mata.
Right.
This guy, there's a producer called Mata. Um,
Our Oyabun.
yeah, and he he was working on that project so with Alan Pohl, so
Mhm.
they know each other. So Alan knows Japan in that sense. So I think it's good that the people that are working on it know both. So it's interesting. I think.
Amazing. How long did it take for everyone to kind of feel like they were in the right place? Where
I think after the first episode, when
Mhm.
Michael
Okay.
Mann set the tone for all of us, I think. And then for the second episode, Joseph the Kubota, this director, he's wonderful too. He has some Japanese in him. He's lovely. He's a lovely director, and Michael was the guy with energy and come. And then Joseph would be like, okay, let's go. And he would be calm. So he'd be like, oh, it's so peaceful. This episode's so peaceful. but, but it was great. It was great. I mean, they were lovely, lovely, lovely directors and lovely crew, which I think was great for all the Japanese actors.
And the show is still going on.
Yes, it's
It's
great.
on
It's great.
episode 4, season
Yes.
2.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to see the next one.
Well,
What about
speaking of
you?
that, let's take another quick break here. This is our final break. We're on the Kimi Kato show. Special guest, Kimi's special guest is Eugene Nomura. He's an actor and producer. You can follow him on Instagram at Eugene Nomura. Upcoming